Here's a follow-up to the video I just made called Justice, which you can watch in the linked related video thing down there. Equalization. I unfortunately ran out of time to talk about it on that video, but the way I like justice, and I like people that get proper credit, and, you know, people should always get what they deserve, equalization is another aspect of that. So I always equalize, which is what makes me seem negative to positive people like my mother. So if someone's negative, I'll inform them of the positives to say, hey, make sure you consider this. If someone's positive, I'll consider the negatives to say, hey, make sure you consider this. I always want people to have information. I always want to equalize the knowledge. I always want to equalize the mood. If someone's being overly aggressive, nope, calm down. If someone's being overly sad, hey, don't be sad. I want everyone to be neutral, have a neutral state of mind. So for instance, the way my mom is pretty much always positive, she has the mind of a child, not in the offensive way, in the fun way. So every time she says something positive, I'm like, well, make sure to consider the fact that, and no matter how politely I put it, you know, say, oh, mother, make sure, just in case, for your own safety, to consider this. Because of how often she's positive, and other people that are positive have noticed this about me as well, I'm constantly informing her about negative things, and I don't really realize it. So I seem like I'm just constantly being negative to her because she's negative. Because if you go to someone negative, like, well, if I go to someone negative who's always saying this is bad and this is bad, I was saying, okay, well, make sure to consider the good. Make sure to consider the good. Oh, don't forget to consider the good aspect of it. So I'll seem constantly positive to them. So I do, I suppose, have to work on that, always being negative. But I just always want to equalize. I want to inform. And of course, I can't necessarily do what I would perfectly ideally like to do, which is break everything down as I would do. People would say I'm overthinking it. I was like, oh, okay, all right, good idea. So you're considering this. Let me break it down. Let me research this real quick. Let me consider the pros and the cons, and let me evaluate what the most optimally efficient way of doing this is. If it's an entertainment method, can we find another one that's even more No one's going to do that. So I resort to just giving them a little fact by saying, hey, make sure to consider, etc. I obviously probably wouldn't say that. I'd probably say something more like, we'll make sure that you remember, or something. I don't know. So yeah, that part of me is a little difficult to deal with sometimes. But yes, I equalize. I make sure those who are brought down are brought up. And those who are up in the sky, make sure to consider the risks. And really, I just try to inform everyone in general, so that ties into that as well. I always want people to be informed, so if they bring something up, I will inform them on them. Just because, like, they might be going too far, you know? So if they say, I love this, okay, well, just to make sure you do know what could be wrong, you know? I love gambling, okay, well, or I absolutely hate, well, you know, you might not hate it if you just, so you always got to make sure people aren't fully on one side, you know? Make them be reasonable and consider the options. So I give them the options. Goodbye.